Hey, like I said, that's part of it's on the fly. Anyway, hello. Welcome in. This is Birds of a Feather podcast with your boy Q City.
Your boy Taj Bravado.
And this is episode 47, Ring Around the Rosie with the coaches. We don't know who we're gonna pick, right? We're all on the coaching carousel right now.
Yeah, we
it looked like it was Belichick's job to lose, and now we done got 1,575 names in the portal right now. So let's get into it. Let's get into it, bro.
today, like just today, we interviewed Ben Johnson after the game. We interviewed Bobby Slowick today. Yesterday we interviewed Joe Brady. And we also interviewed Raheem Morris. Then obviously, on Friday we interviewed Bill Belichick for the second time. We also interviewed Aaron Glenn.
And Jim
When do we have?
Harbaugh for the second.
No, we haven't interviewed him yet. That's coming this week.
Yeah.
So we have interviews this week coming up with Jim Harbaugh for a second one. Brian Callahan, my bad, not Brian Callahan for a second time. Evero for a second time. I know it was some other ones, but this really does seem like it is going to be a very true and thorough search. Because despite what the media says, the media has been wrong with us countless times. Like the media ain't been right about anything since what, maybe shit, I don't know. They ain't been right about Falcons shit in a
Well,
while.
I think the media was pretty good on calling Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was linked to
Well,
Atlanta the whole playoff run, and then event
well,
he
I
did
mean,
come here.
I think around that time it's because the rules were different though. Because
Hmm.
there's nothing stopping them from hiring Bill Belichick right now. Well, technically it is because they're not Rooney Rule compliant. Um, so I mean, technically
They did Raheem Morris, didn't they?
they got to do it in person. They have to be two in person interviews. Those were virtual.
Ah,
So yeah, but I mean, if they really wanted just to get it, they could easily just skirt the process. Be like, all right, we interviewed you, get out our face, come on, Bill. But I think they're truly looking for the best possible candidate. Because I mean, yeah, Bill's the biggest name, but I I don't think he's probably the best candidate for us.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Sitting back and thinking about it, I still would be fairly happy with Bill as a candidate, but you did point to the fact that like that's a 3 year turnaround, and it's a quick turnaround. And Bill hadn't done the best job in developing a QB, right? As much as
Mm-hmm.
you could talk me into him, I understand being talked out of him. You know what I'm saying? And I think Arthur Blank being older, he wants to kind of go immediately for the kill shot, right? He wants to go for the big name hire. He wants to give me a win right now. But that's why you got football people around you making football decisions that kind of think of the long term health of the organization to say,
No,
hey, this is going to be a quick turnaround if we hire this type of guy.
yeah, it's very quick. Now, the other big name in Harbaugh, I would not. I have no opposal to that if he actually wants to
Yeah,
do it.
I don't think he'd come to Atlanta.
But
I have
what's the
a I
point of you
have a
trying?
very hard time seeing Harbaugh in Atlanta.
What's the point of you going through the interview process for a second time if you're
Yeah,
not
I
remotely
mean,
interested?
yeah, but the
Because he
Chargers are
interviewed.
dragging their feet. The
Yeah, but
Chargers are dragging their feet.
the Chargers only had one interview. Like they only interviewed him once. He's interviewed with us twice. He's about to interview with us for a second time. Like
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
they're
The Chargers are dragging their feet. Michigan still hadn't put a new contract on the table for him.
the,
Like,
the thing is, he pretty much put Michigan in an impossible situation because they can't really because what he wants is immunity to pretty much where it's going to be like, all right, they about to drop some sanctions on us, but despite all that, I want to be safe, and they're like, we can't do that. And they're like, all right, cool, well, NFL, bye.
yeah, basically. I mean, I'm pretty sure he wants some protections written into his
Yeah,
contract that don't allow them to terminate in the event of NCAA sanctions.
yeah,
But with that being said, bro, like this is a completely separate conversation.
yeah.
Um, and I want to apologize to everyone out there. We be promising y'all that we gonna talk about stuff, and then we be like, yeah, no, we gonna get to it. nigga shit. We are gonna get to it, I promise. It's just might be on another episode. Anyway, we talk about the NCAA, right? How long is the NCAA even gonna be around in the grand scheme of things, bro? It's really like a dinosaur institution. So I could definitely understand and see where he would be like, I'm either going to hide in the NFL for a couple years and hopefully come back to Michigan, which I know Michigan will fire anybody they have for Harbaugh, or I want, like you said, immunity written into the fact that like I have the belief that my coaching career is going to outlive this institution because the NCAA is dying as is, or at least it's controlled over football. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
I
like
mean,
I could understand his mindset right there being I'm not finna be at the behest of like have a guillotine hanging over my head over an institution I don't think is gonna be there in 5 years.
but I ultimately think he really because like they've been saying this all over the airwaves that he has unfinished business in the NFL. He wants that Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl. You know
Mm-hmm.
his brother had the Super Bowl. His dad has a national title. Now he has a national title. Now he wants the Super Bowl because people like bragging rights when it comes to the family events. Be like, hey dad,
Absolutely.
hey dad, did you ever win the Super Bowl? Oh, I did. Hey, John, did you ever win the Super national championship? Oh, you didn't? I did. Dang, I mean, I won both. That's crazy.
Me personally,
Who would have
I
thought?
wouldn't take that. Me personally, I wouldn't be okay with just a national championship. But hey, that's just me, pops. That's just me. Like niggas built different,
Now,
you know.
now,
Now,
but with Harbaugh though, but like, because you saying you don't see him here, it makes sense because when you think back to when he went to the Niners, I think they
the
might have
Niners
been
were
in a very similar.
trash. Jim Bob Sula was the coach when he took over for them, bro. Exactly. You heard that name? That was the
Now,
49ers were
yeah,
trash.
but
Trash.
they had some talent. He
Did
immediately
he take
took
over from
over.
Mike Singletary?
I think it was Singletary. It was Singletary. I do believe it was Singletary. But
Yeah, I know they had
this
Jim Bob Sula in there.
this team is in a very similar situation in that Niners team, and I think Harbaugh realizes that because people be like, "Oh, we don't got a quarterback. We don't got a quarterback." Harbaugh can develop quarterbacks. He's done that pretty much everywhere he's went. He's a
Everywhere
team
he's
builder.
gone.
Like so, he looks at Atlanta. He looks at a team that has young pieces. They have a good online. You have weapons on the outside. You have two great running backs. You have a defense on the rise. This is a very attractive team for someone like a Harbaugh. Despite and we have 8 picks, so I know people won't like this, but I've been seeing some grumblings that there could be McCarthy's going to go higher than people think. Um,
Hmm.
One, he's only 20 years old. He's the youngest quarterback in the draft. Um,
Which is
and
a big reason why I thought he would just go ahead and come back.
yeah, I thought he would too, but I think he knew that Harbaugh wasn't going to return, so he was just like, well,
Hmm.
because to me that screams as the biggest thing that Harbaugh's not going to go back. Harbaugh's been hyping him up, blah blah blah. I think McCarthy's going to
The
go
kid
earlier.
needs the kid
How
needs
early? I don't
seasoning.
know.
Yeah, the kid
He
needs
does.
seasoning, bro.
No, he does. He does. But here's the thing: with Harbaugh, right? You could get you a veteran and possibly talk because McCarthy's going to be easy. He's going to be the easiest to attain of the first round quarterbacks. And probably like even though he does have a lot of similarities to Desmond Ritter, he's safer with the ball and he's a better creator.
You'd have
He's
to
better.
you'd have to trade back into the first round. I can't see you taking him at 8.
No,
But you know
I'm
what?
just
To
saying.
be completely fair, nobody saw Josh Allen at 7, and
I
he
did. No,
been
I,
bumping.
I did. Josh Allen was longly talked about as a top quarterback in that draft. Is because he had all of the tools. He had the prototypical size. He had the rocket arm, and he was very athletic. So I didn't think he would have made it to the Bills. I thought he would have went a little earlier than he did. But yeah,
Nah,
Josh
I
Allen
had
going to set.
him. I had Lamar going ahead of him. I had
I always thought Lamar was the best quarterback in the class, but I knew Josh Allen was going early. Um, but like McCarthy, he's very young. And the thing is, they say if you like a guy, you take him and you can get him. I don't
Yeah.
agree with him in the 8, but I'm just saying there is a world out there where that could be a pick, or they could target a trade down. But some
So
people
I'm
have
not
this
gonna
theory
lie.
with quarterbacks. Some
He
people have this
goes at
theory with
8.
quarterbacks. If you, huh?
He goes at 8. Ritter's gone, bro. Because you got to get a
Yeah,
veteran in there. You got to get a veteran
well,
in there.
it depends on if they want to keep 3 quarterbacks or not.
Yeah. Like if you hold 3 quarterbacks, I understand keeping Ritter because he's cheap and he's a viable backup. But like if you're only going to hold 2 quarterbacks, you got to get a veteran presence in there to really help and groom this guy. And I could see it being a full redshirt year for him, to be completely honest.
I think it ultimately would be. But then Harbaugh's probably also the same guy because how similar Ritter and McCarthy is, Harbaugh could be looking at Ritter like I could fix him.
I could fix him. Yeah. I try to stress this to Falcons fans as much as possible, not to shock you or make you upset, but just to prepare your booty hole for the fucking you about to get. You understand me? Like we could go into next year with Ritter at quarterback. You understand me? Like this could be like our starting quarterback yesterday. It is very, very plausible. It's not 50-50, but it ain't too far off of that number.
Yeah,
It's probably like
it's
70.
not zero. It's not
It's not,
zero. That's
there's a non-zero chance that we could go into the season with Desmond Ritter as the starting quarterback. And I need people to understand that because we're gonna get into draft talk. We're gonna do mock drafts and like Jaden Daniels at 8. Absolutely, we snatching him up. Jaden Daniels might go 3. He could mess around and go 2.
he could, but I don't think he will. But it's very
Not what I'm
possible.
saying. Like we could have 3 quarterbacks in the top 5. In fact, we've had multiple years with 3 quarterbacks in the top 5.
Yeah,
We had 3 years ago quarterbacks go 1, 2, and 3. So like thinking that Jaden Daniels is just gonna fall to 8 is not best practice. Now, very rarely do 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10. That usually
no,
doesn't happen, which leads you to believe the fact that if Jaden Daniels goes top 5, at 8, we probably don't like a quarterback enough to pick him at 8. So we're either trading down or we're taking best player on the board. And what our GM has showed at this point in time, he's gonna take the best player on the board. He's gonna take the best
so
player there.
let's see. Here's the thing, because I've been stressing this. Like, you never want to force a quarterback pick because when you
Absolutely.
break down the hit rate of first round quarterbacks, you know the hit rate's like around like 40%. But do you know
Mm-hmm.
over 80% of that is first round picks? I mean, number one overall picks. So outside of the number
It's,
one overall pick, you have about a 20% or less chance of hitting.
I mean, if you do the math, yeah, yeah. Well, it's 32%, but yeah,
No. Someone did a whole breakdown. It's about 20%
mm, that's
of
tough.
if it's not the number one pick, the chances are not great. But that's with
So,
any
but
prospect.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. What's considered a hit? What's considered a hit? Are they?
I
Do they
think his
need to be?
markers were 4,000 yard seasons, Pro Bowl, um, more than 5 years in the league. Um, I think those are the main three I remember, but there was some others too. But those are the main three.
All
And
right. So if
like
we look at last year's draft, we look at last year's draft. Who was the first round quarterbacks last year? Bryce Young, C.J.
Bryce
Stroud.
Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and that was it.
So that's a 33% rate, right? Because C.J.'s already hit that.
Yeah, he's already. Well, did he? Or he
C.J.'s
did.
already hit. Yeah, C.J.'s already hit that. He had 4,000 yards. He had a what's it
Yeah,
called?
but CJ's looking like the exception.
No, 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 no. So I'm trying to play it back in my mind. If we go to so what's that?
The
2020.
2021 with Trevor
We go to
Lawrence.
2022. No, no,
Trevor
no. We got to go to
Lawrence. No,
2022.
it was 21. 22 was only Kenny Pickett. 21 is the last time with the quarterbacks went. That was the Trevor Lawrence.
You see how
Um,
he skipped over Kenny Pickett because there's very clearly a
he
miss.
was
He
the
ain't trying to hit
he was the only quarterback in the draft. He didn't go number one, so
this. So anyway,
So we're talking about 2021, where you have Trevor Lawrence who won one, then you have
yeah,
Zach Wilson who went
Zach
two, Trey
Wilson,
Lance
Trey
three.
Lance.
Then you skip a little bit, then you get to Justin Fields, and then Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac made a Pro
They
Bowl.
all you said, oh
Mac made a Pro Bowl.
yeah, Mac made a Pro Bowl. Did Trevor?
So you got 2 out of 5 in that draft.
But I don't even
Trevor made a Pro
Mac
Bowl.
Mac done made it fell off the face of earth. So
I mean, that 5 year in the league mark might be tough for him. I ain't gonna lie, but he made a
he ain't
Pro
got the
Bowl.
four. He ain't got that 4K though. Um,
No, he doesn't have 4,000 yards
and then
passing.
Trey Lance, I'm going to give him an NA because I haven't seen enough of him to truly say whether he can play or not.
I think the coaches have seen enough for him. Like, bro, you went 4 or 5. Like,
I mean, he did, but the thing is, he ain't seen the field. Like the thing is, it's
you're
Kyle
worth what they'll
Shanahan,
pay for you.
huh?
You worth what they'll pay for you.
I mean,
At a
sure.
certain point, you worth what they'll pay for you. They paid a 5 for you, bro. Like they was, I got 5 on it. Like it was.
No, it's they was in a because the thing if Purdy didn't do what Purdy did, then Trey Lance would still be there.
Nah,
He would if Purdy didn't do what he did,
he
Trey
brought in
Lance would
Sam
still be there.
Darnold, bro. He brought in Sam
No,
Darnold.
you didn't bring in
I
Darnold
think
to
he
be
was
the
overrated.
starter. You did not bring
I, I
Darnold in
just,
no way was ever going to be the starter. He was
I
never
just,
going to
I
be the starter.
think overall he was done with Lance because like
He
Kyle got a lot of turn in him. He got a lot of like I'm a turn on a quarterback, and in his heart and soul, him and McVay are the quickest I've known to just turn on quarterbacks, bro. John Gruden too, but still, like once they just decide a dude can't play, like they don't care about him no more, bro.
I still think Purdy greatly influenced that decision. Um, that's
Which
the only
he might have.
that's the only concrete evidence that I have because you stand Darnold. Darnold's not a good starter. He's a backup. That's what he is.
I think that they brought him in to kind of pressure, but on the same token, like you said, Purdy took that job and ran with it. He wasn't giving it back.
It was never in question. Like once he took that job, because the offense looked different under Purdy. Because like you take Lance because he has the tools. Purdy has the mental aspect down pack already. He don't got the tools. That's why he went where he went. But he got it all up here, and he gives you a little bit of ability to create and all of that. Then he has a little it factor. But as Cam Newton says, he ain't a game changer. He's a game manager.
I mean, what's wrong with managing the game, bro?
There's
What's
nothing
wrong
wrong
with
with it.
managing?
It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing because the thing is, people took that take and tried to bash him. While that take Cam said is aging like fine wine.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, ain't nothing wrong with just managing the game, bro. Like I'm a manager at work. Like a good bit of my job is just making sure things flow properly. You know what I'm saying? And just making sure point A
That's
gets to
it.
point
Because
B.
as a game manager, your job is to make sure they don't lose because of you.
Yeah,
As a
that's the
game
main thing.
changer, they might lose because you was a game changer, but they also go win because of you too.
The only reason they gonna win is because of you, bro. Like Josh Allen, like, boy, he put it all out there on the field today, boy. He put
And
it
the
all
kicker
out there.
sold
He's
him.
a game changer, bro. He's a game changer.
And the kicker sold him.
Yeah, yeah. It's, I mean, yeah, no. You can't just blame the kicker, bro. You can't just
I'm not gonna blame the kicker, but
because
but Josh Allen can't.
Diggs screwed him. Diggs screwed him, bro. Diggs
Oh, when he
screwed him.
dropped him on that bet on the bomb.
Yeah, Diggs screwed him. What's his name? The running back. What happened?
Cook.
Like he
Hell,
got tackled.
hell, but Josh Allen damn near tried to give it up himself too because he threw a pick that got swatted down by the other guy because Snead was sitting there waiting for it and McDuffie swatted it down and Sweet's like dang, and then the next play he fumbles. He got
Yeah,
saved twice.
yeah. I mean, and the
I
Chiefs
mean,
fumbled out the back of the end zone. I ain't gonna lie to you. That is such a penalty, bro.
oh
Like
yeah,
that is such a
the
penalty,
touchback rule.
dog.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Like
because it's such an extreme. You go from oh, yeah, I'm about to score a touchdown to oh, touchback.
I think
What?
it's a like I think it should be a 15-yard penalty, bro. I think it should be a 15-yard penalty.
I mean, I don't agree with that.
Like if you fumble out the back or the side of the end zone, because that keeps the goal line sacred. It probably if you're in a goal to go situation, it probably puts you into basically field goal range. But just like, bro, you fumble out the side of the now. To be fair, Hardman was dumb as hell. You don't reach in that situation. You tuck and go down with the ball. That was second down. I could understand if it was third or fourth. You tuck and go down with the ball, bro. So like it was stupid on his part. And that's one of the things like Bill Belichick always coached. Don't reach for the pylon, right? Go down. But even still, it's such a hard penalty. We got bit by it this year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, well,
yeah.
we got lucky because they just hit his hand touched out of bounds, so we got lucky with that.
God, Ritter got hit later.
No, no, yeah, I mean he fumbled the very next play, but
Yeah.
you talking about in the? I thought you were talking about the Drake London play. You talking about the?
No, no, no. In the that was also in the Bucks game.
Yeah,
That was also in the Bucks game, but nah, he freaking
yeah,
got knocked
because
out like on the
Antoine
side.
Winfield Jr. came and popped it out right before he crossed the line, and it went out there.
Yeah, on that hustle play, bro. Like bro. It's such a hard penalty, bro. It's such a hard penalty.
But yeah, but yeah. So Harbaugh. I think he looks at this team and he probably could either think he could fix Ritter or he has a plan at quarterback that like because everywhere he's won, he's won. So he's
Mhm.
probably the person. That if he said he could fix Ritter, I would believe him. Because
He made
Harbaugh's
he
track record shown he can do
he
it.
made Kaepernick an actual quarterback in this league
Yeah,
for a good bit.
yeah. So Harbaugh, I just don't know how interested he is in the job. But I mean, the
Hmm.
fact that you're coming for a second interview shows there's some type of interest because you're not about to just take a job that you have no interest in. You're not about to waste your time. With these people, time is money. So you're not about to fly into Atlanta, get wine and dine if you don't have any type of interest in the job. And some people were saying that the first meeting didn't go well. Well, it went well enough to if he got a second interview. Um,
So when I think about it and I look at it, bro, I'm thinking about the fact of like Arthur Smith usually has these tendencies. All his coaching hires have been recently like recent offensive or defensive coordinators um, from basically championship, have some sort of championship pedigree, right? Arthur Smith was the first one that kind of broke the championship pedigree. Excuse me, but it's usually that first time offensive or defensive coordinator making
well,
that
Smith,
making that step up.
well, I guess Mike Smith technically did with the Ravens. Yeah,
Yeah, Mike Smith was with the Ravens. Dan Quinn was with the
I mean, but Jim Moore didn't have any pedigree, neither did Petrino.
Jim Mora was with the
Jim Moore was Blank's first hire.
what he with the Seahawks? I'm thinking it's
I think
pops. I'm thinking it's pops.
yeah, Pop. Yeah, Jim Moore
I'm
Jr.
thinking
He
it's
didn't
pops.
have any. He didn't have anything, and that was Rich McKay's first hire. And then after McKay, it was McKay hired Petrino, and then after the Petrino debacle, McKay got demoted, and that's when they brought in Dimitrov, and Dimitrov led in the hire to bring in Mike Smith. So Mike Smith, he was on the Ravens staff that won the Super Bowl. Then Dan Quinn was the next hire. He was on the Seattle, and then yeah, Arthur Smith was the first. I mean, well, not the first, but he was a mold breaker from the previous two. The
Mm-hmm.
my ideal behind why he wanted to do it because with an offensive coach, you get the bit because I think he watched the Dan Quinn situation and seen that once he lost Shanahan, they could not get the offense back together. But everything
No.
kind of fell apart when they lost Shanahan. So he probably seen that and it was like, okay, I want something where the offense is always going to be in place.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And you got that. And but Mike Smith's downfall, not Mike Smith, Dan Quinn's downfall as well was the fact that like you lost it offensively. And complimentary
but
football is
defense was
absolutely
there.
necessary. I get that. But your defense was never there. Your
Yeah,
defense was
but
never there.
it was never there. But I also think it got to a point to where the players, I think they liked Dan Quinn, but I think they ultimately lost respect for him. Um, like as just as a coach, as a person, I'm sure they respect him as a person, but as a coach, they because you don't go 0-5 if you truly like. There was no fear, nothing like he was too busy trying to be their friend. So I think
No, no. Everybody knows if you watch that season prior, everybody knew he should have been fired at the end of the previous season, and I think even the players recognize that. And so like you coming into the next season, it's kind of just like dead man walking. You know what I'm saying? So I could see your whole like they lost respect for him because it was just, and I think somebody who would command respect immediately, Harbaugh, Belichick, a retread type of coach. You know what I'm
or
saying?
or
And
even a
that
Morris
just
coach.
hadn't been, yeah. Oh, yeah, Raheem Morris. That just it hasn't been Blank's mo to go
Yeah,
retread, but I think that's kind of where he would need to lean in this situation. I don't have an issue with Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick, Brian Callahan. I think all three of them have shown good offensive mind. You know what I'm saying, and would be able to utilize the weapons. But call me stupid after a 7-9 season. I think this team is a head coach and decent quarterback play away from playing on this weekend.
yeah,
You know what I'm
possibly.
saying?
Because
Divisional
look at
round.
Detroit. Because the
Yeah.
thing is, us in Detroit started our trajectory. I mean, obviously Detroit had they had a piece to where they were able to really jumpstart the rebuild by getting two first and a quarterback back in return who's been playing just as good as the quarterback they traded away.
Mm,
He's still playing this, and they're some of these games that were winning because of him. Some of them because
I mean, no, 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 don't get me wrong. This is no Jared Goff slander, but like Stafford has had some crazy seasons, bro.
he has. But I'm talking about currently where they currently stand. They're probably about the same. I ain't talking about
Yeah,
what
yeah, Stafford's
Stafford
older.
has been. I'm talking about where they currently. You pretty much got similar quarterback play and got to pick up two extra first.
Yeah, but like the Rams would make that trade every day because they got a Super Bowl out of it.
I mean, yeah, they did, but I'm just saying that helps the Lions. That help jumpstart their rebuild because they had that extra
They
ammunition.
had they had the assets. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
So that really helped. So like, but I can see us being like a Lions team because I feel like talent wise we're very similar. They just got stable quarterback play. And they got a much more imaginative offensive coordinator who's going to get a head coaching job
And
this year.
and my thing is, I think we spent a lot of time throughout the season, over and over again, um, talking about the tools that Ritter has.
Yeah.
Ritter has the tools necessary to be a capable starting NFL quarterback. And
Mhm.
after his play this season, I understand a lot of people don't want to hear that. Trust me, I ain't out here putting the cape on for Ritter. That's not happening. Bro, if you ever hear this podcast, I'm not shitting on you or nothing. You said out your own mouth that you understood your play should have got you benched. So I'm not saying nothing that you don't know. You harder on yourself than any podcast bro could be on. But but like, if you just look at the physical tools, big arm, mobile, um, he had some really good stretches of decisive play this year. I could understand somebody like Johnson coming in with the eighth pick and saying, "Let me get Roma Dunze, right? Let me let me lean on my D coordinator and see if we can go Latu on the line." You know what I'm saying? With Grady coming off an injury and Calais real close to retirement. I could completely understand Callahan saying, and I'm not, please, I'm not calling them the same people, but looking at just the tools and being like, I got my Walmart, I got my Wish version of Burrow here. You know what I'm saying? I got my Timu version of Burrow here, and I can mold it into something.
I don't know about that.
I'm not saying they're the same guy. I'm saying if you don't look at the play, don't look at the play, and you just look at the player itself. If you were drafting a quarterback and you saw a quarterback with Ritter's measurements, would you not be like, oh yeah, I could do
Yeah,
something with
yeah.
that?
But see, the thing is, Burrow's measurements suck. He don't have a strong arm. He's not the most fleet of foot. He has great pocket feel and he has
He
great
has he has
accuracy.
amazing pocket feel. He has amazing pocket feel,
So
and
so
and,
so
and so like
that's why
when
I was like, I don't know about that because like Burrows, he's an exception when it comes to quarterbacks because he doesn't have all of the tools in the world. He has adequate arm strength. He can make the throws, but he don't have what you would call a cannon.
I don't think Ritter has a cannon.
Ritter has much more of a cannon than what you would call because here's the thing with Ritter. When he throws the ball, it jumps out of his hands. It ain't really jumping out of Burrow's hand like that.
Yeah, but to go deep, he has to load up like
Well,
hard.
that's mostly just a mechanical thing. Um, because that's what makes Burrow because Burrow understands the mechanics and the touch. Ritter doesn't really
Yeah,
have
like
the
Burrow
best
can get the
touch.
ball deep without having to load up.
It's mechanics.
Yeah, that's
Like
what
I'm
I'm,
saying,
that's. But that
that's what
to
I'm
me
saying.
is like
Burrow's a technician. Burrow's technically sound in his passing fundamentals. Ritter's not.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I look at Ritter, I'd be like, even if you do have like a really good arm, like your crappy footwork kind of negates a lot of it.
And
But
the thing is, Ritter's footwork is good, but on the deep throws, it's not there yet because it's things that he needs to clean up on the deep throws. Like intermediate is great, short to
his
intermediate is great,
bro,
but
I
if you
our first
and the thing
conversation,
is, his deep throws wasn't even that bad this year. If we're just being honest, like no, it seriously wasn't.
Josh,
It's no, it seriously
Josh.
wasn't. No, I'm being dead serious. It
Josh.
seriously was not. No, it seriously was not that bad. Because when you look at it's not a high percentage of throws. Most quarterbacks aren't completing that. Like, let me pull up the numbers. Let me pull up the numbers.
You could pull up the numbers like nigga, we both watched the games. Like,
Yes,
we saw
but
him routinely underthrow London deep that London had to come back and make amazing plays on.
no, he didn't underthrow him routinely. He overthrew more than he underthrew him.
He did overthrow. He overthrew a good bit.
Yeah,
He overthrew a good bit.
he overthrew more than he underthrew. So with him, the it's there. It's just a lot of time it was timing. Like I think Ritter, his anticipation needs a little work on things past 20 yards
All right,
that are
so
not out breaking in breaking routes. Like breaking routes, he's going to hit you. The
so if you're a new
streaks,
offensive coordinator, if you're a new offensive coordinator, are you thinking, you know what? Instead of getting this 24-year-old out of Washington or this 24/25-year-old out of Oregon or this 20-year-old out of Michigan, I'm gonna deal with this. I'm gonna deal with this guy. I'm gonna work and try to build with him for a year. And if the wheels completely fall off, I'm safe enough for a year that I can go draft my guy next year. I haven't looked ahead far enough to know what the quarterback class looks like for next year, but if the wheels fall off, we'll be picking high. You know what I'm saying? Like, or we'll just the hell be at 8 again. But regardless, I could definitely see a lot of these new coordinators coming in and just wanting to stick with Ritter.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely not a horrible because like
Now
he's still young, but
I
he's
will
still
say
young.
defensively, Aaron Glenn, Mike McDonald didn't get a second interview, which I didn't like. Neither did the Ravens assistant coach, right? He didn't get one.
Well, they're still putting them out because like we don't know exactly because a lot of times the Falcons said they're not going to announce it. You won't know until after the fact.
Yeah.
It's
And
only
what
him who can announce because
both of them are going
no
to be
one
in
saw
person, I'm
Harbaugh coming.
guessing.
Yeah, well, the Ravens they probably will want to wait until they're out to get that in person
Yeah.
interview. So you probably won't see it until those eliminated because I think for the second one you want it to be in person.
Yeah,
unless you just
you want
really,
that one to be in.
unless you just really fuck with them and you like, hey, I gotta talk to you again. So
Yeah,
what you said you want to do with the team?
yeah,
I
which is
like
the
this.
crazy part because I feel like hell, the Ravens playing later could really keep them from getting a job, bro. And it might be good for that defense, but
Here's one
um,
that kind of stuck with me when Arthur Blank was talking in the presser after they let go of Smith. He was saying that I, before he hired somebody, but he was talking to Art Rooney before he passed, and he was just saying how don't listen to what anyone has to say. Take your time and make sure it's right. Because the year that the Steelers hired Mike Tomlin, they were one of the last teams to hire a coach, and they took a long time to do it. So he says the key to this process is making sure you make the right hire. There is no time limit. There's none of that. So you just don't. The only thing you want to do is get it right. So if they fail, that's the guy. They will wait. Because the thing is, with Dan Quinn, even though they knew he was going to be hired because he made it to the Super Bowl that year,
yeah,
he was fired. So
they kept him. So it was a late hire, but it was the worst kept secret in the league.
I mean, hey, so
And you can't say like you say what you want about Dan Quinn. He put together an adequate staff because was it
that was that 2016 offensive staff was one for the ages.
three
Like
people off his staff are head coaches. Like you
and a
know,
fourth one. So like,
yeah. So it's he put together a good staff. Um, and hell, even the person that took over for him in the interim when he left immediately got a DC job. You know what I'm
yep,
saying?
and
Which
won the Super
is
Bowl the year after.
yeah, which is something I wanted to kind of stick on because I feel like if we go offensive, there's a very good chance of keeping Ritter and having him start the year. I feel like if we go defensive coach, we're gonna get an offensive
Better coach.
coordinator who wants to put their own spin on things, and I feel like that would kind of be a death stroke for Ritter.
See, the only thing with this is the only thing I hate about when you have a defensive coach and then the offensive coordinator is really not attached to you because the offensive coordinator has a good system, a good year, he go get hired. If you do take a young quarterback, then he's hamstrung by any potential scheme change, and, unless you try to keep it in this. See, like as good as Matt Ryan was for us, Matt Ryan went through way too many system changes.
Was it six, right?
Maybe six, maybe even more. Because Matt Ryan got coordinators head coach jobs. He even got Dirk
Mm-hmm.
Cutter head coach job. Think about that.
Yeah, yeah.
He got Mike Mularkey a head coach job. Think about that. Matt, like y'all can say what you want to say about
Oh,
Ryan. He was getting people hired.
so you got Malarkey, Cutter, Sarkeesian, uh,
Shanahan.
Shanahan.
Um,
I'm thinking it's only six, bro.
let me pull up the.
Because I know when Mike Smith first got there, I know I'm missing a name. I'm missing a name because I want to say he was Morris coordinator. It wasn't Dirk Cutter. We wasting a lot of time on this pod, y'all. I promise we're better than this.
We're not. He gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Okay, so Hugh Jackson was also a coordinator for us.
There it goes. There it goes.
So we had Greg Knapp, who was a coordinator. He was
Greg
an
Knapp.
offensive line
That's the
coordinator.
name I was thinking about. Because Greg Knapp he was a coordinator for one of the Vic years.
Yeah, yep.
Well,
From
that was his second
04 to
time
oh
in Atlanta.
06. 04 to oh
Yeah,
06, he was a coordinator. So he was the Jim Moore coordinator, yeah.
yeah.
Then after that we had Hugh Jackson really for just 1 year during the, oh, during the, uh, Petrino season. We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about
Then
that.
Then Mike Mularkey was the coordinator when Mike Smith and the first got here. Then we went on to Kyle Shanahan. Then Mularkey was coordinator for 5 years for us.
It's crazy.
No, it was 3 years, 3 years, and then I forgot it was Cutter after that. Then he came back because Cutter was the coordinator from 12 to 14. So yeah, Mike Mularkey, and then Cutter was the coordinator who lost to the Niners in the damn whatever. Shanahan, Sarkisian, Dirk Cutter. So all of these guys, with the exception, well, all of these guys that Matt Ryan, they all had head coaching jobs at some point after the Falcons.
And then Arthur Smith. So you went through six systems.
Yeah,
You went through six coaches, five systems, but doesn't change the fact. Like, yeah, that was switching constantly. And he consistently had defensive coaches. You had Mike Smith, you had Dan Quinn. Like you're very beholden to the offensive coordinator. And luckily, like no Matt Ryan slander is like appreciated here. You know what I'm saying? Like I will speak truth. Was Matt Ryan the top echelon quarterback in the league? Absolutely not. But he was by far and away the best quarterback we've ever had. And I would say a borderline Hall of Famer, right? Um, but with that being said, bro, like you're beholden to the offensive systems that you have with a defensive coach. And luckily, we had a guy who was good enough to overcome it for a time until he couldn't, until his body, he just old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
yeah.
think if
Not
we
many
fall
quarterbacks
into
can deal
the
with that.
yeah, I think if we fall into the scheme of wanting a defensive coach again, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Raheem Morris is like really good. I really like him. I really like Mike McDonald. I think if we fall into either one of them, one, they're going to draft a quarterback because whoever they're going to bring in offensively is going to want their guy. And then, like you said, we're kind of just handcuffed to whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like if they go out and get McCarthy, Penix, and 2 years in, you're having record breaking seasons. That guy gets a job. Now we're looking like, okay, we got this 26-year-old guy who only knows one system. What do we do here?
Yeah. Um, so that's kind of what brings me. So like the defensive guys are nice, offensive guys are nice, but I feel like a lot of times when it comes to these coaching hires, the unicorn is the one who usually has the best success. Like Dan Campbell, he was a unicorn. He was never an offensive or defensive coordinator. Uh, he was a tight end coach and he was a former player, but he's getting a lot out of this team. So the coach that really
His
has,
staff is also crazy though. His
yeah, it
staff
is,
is
it
crazy.
is, it
Yeah.
is crazy.
And I
Um,
think I think when we talked about recently when we talked on the betting pod about one of the reasons I felt like you should have let the Eagles coach go is that like as a head coach, part of your job is building your staff. Now, I can't blame Sirianni too much because he had two head coaches on his staff. You know what I'm saying? So like,
there was going to be
and
some decline. You just can't have it. You couldn't afford to have it on both sides of the ball, though.
yeah, that's tough. That's tough. So like, hey, look, that's rough. But you made two bad hires, two coordinators that you're gonna fire within a year. That's tough. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So like, as a head coach,
interesting enough, we actually interviewed their offensive coordinator for the head coach spot.
which is bananas. I saw that and I thought it was a joke. There's no way y'all interviewed Brian Johnson. Like for what? For because we need to interview a black guy. That's what it sounds like. That's
It was.
what.
It was. It does, but the thing is, he wasn't. He didn't even satisfy the room because it was a virtual interview, so it didn't count for anything because it wasn't in person.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro. That man
I
don't.
mean,
That man can't tell you nothing. That man can't tell you nothing. You don't need to know.
but some coaches are better in different roles. He might be better as a head coach. Who knows? It's not the best look. It's not the best look, but
Not the best
some
look.
people are better at different roles. But but the coach that has me the most interested in this thing, obviously, like Harbaugh has me very, very intrigued just because of his reputation. Because he's won
Hmm.
everywhere he go. Like you, you can't show me nowhere he's lost where he went. Um, so he's definitely because I didn't think it was a possibility. So he's my number one. Number two is Anthony Weaver. He's the Ravens' assistant head coach. I just feel like he could be the unicorn of the cycle. Um, Leader of men, and yeah, I know people think it sounds cliche, but you need it. You need a guy that your players can respect. He's young enough, and he's more involved to where he can connect to the players, but he can also lead them in a way that they will respect him. Um,
Now, one of the things that I think that Tomlin does a great job at, and if you remember, I don't think Tomlin was a coordinator, was he?
1 year,
He was a 1 year coordinator. Harbaugh was a special teams coordinator, right? So didn't do either side of the ball. One thing that I think they do very, very well is they coach their coaches, right? And that is where, so there's that buffer in between them and the player that allows the player to connect with the head coach,
mm-hmm.
right? And it really empowers your whole coaching staff. The one thing I will say, those staffs don't produce a lot of head coaches.
They don't.
And I think about the
It's hard.
Steelers. With the Steelers, wasn't it Ken Wisenhunt was the
Yeah,
only one I could think of?
yeah, with the Cardinals, I
Um,
believe.
yeah, Ken Wisenhunt.
I think Bruce
Uh,
Arians had a time there, didn't he?
yeah, but Bruce main thing that was going to get him hired was his time with the Colts.
I mean, but he came from there though, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to count him, that's fine. And then Todd Haley, right, who flamed spectacularly. Or no, Todd Haley went there after he lost his head coaching job.
I think so. And I think he was the guy before they got Canada.
Yeah, so he went there after the fact. So really, just Ken Wisenhunt, and then on the Ravens, I don't think they've ever had an offensive coordinator be hired.
No,
Trying to think of their defensive coordinator, wasn't it Rex Ryan? Isn't that the only one?
probably.
Like those staffs don't have a lot of coaches that are hired, and that kind of they've had sustained success over long periods of time. And granted, there's only 32 jobs out there. You know what I'm saying? But it does make me wonder, like, what your development piece is like. You know what I'm saying? But hell, having coaching staffs together for a long time isn't the worst thing in the world, right? Those teams have been consistently good. Uh, it's just when you say something like Anthony Weaver, um, yeah, he could be closer to you just named him with the Lions, Dan Campbell.
Dan
He could be
Quinn.
closer to
Yeah.
Dan Campbell, right? Former player, put together awesome staff. We're really going to see what Campbell's made of 2 years from now because Ben Johnson's probably gone this year. Aaron Glenn at best has another year there
Aaron,
before he gets a head coaching job.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not impressed with Aaron Glenn defenses. If I'm being honest.
Bro, you see his
Yeah,
personnel?
the personnel. Yeah, the personnel. I'm not impressed.
Nah, man, I think he is, especially the way he uses the secondary. Like Brian Branch is all over the place.
Well,
Hutchinson's playing.
they using him how he was used in college. Like they're not reinventing the wheel. They're using how he was already used.
Now I'm just saying, like I think
I
they
can't.
look
I'm not
good
giving.
though.
I can't give you Brian.
Defensively,
I can't give you Brian Branch because they lucked into because Brian Branch is the first round talent they got for a steal in the second round.
yeah,
That
because he
was
was
a
injured.
steal.
Yeah, it was, but I mean, hey, highway robberies happen all the time. The thing
It does.
is, he looks good, and say what you want. His name's in this cycle. He got one more year. He got
I
one more
mean,
year till he gets.
I'm just saying I'm not impressed. I don't. I think the one they're going to fail mostly is Ben Johnson.
Oh, Ben, yeah, Ben gonna be gone. Ben's gone. So
That
like, what
yeah.
does your staff look like after that, right? And then, but that to me shows a great development of your staff,
Yeah,
right?
because then you
It
could just
shows
elevate
me that like
guys.
you're elevating guys. You have head coaches on your staff, whereas it once again going back to Tomlin and Harbaugh, do you are you in such a position to where you never can actually build and grow those guys? Because hell, they've had good defensive court. Like Steelers and
Well,
Ravens are
hell,
known for good defense.
Mac McDonald is a Harbaugh disciple.
He is. He is. Came from Michigan and then coordinated their defense, and now he's coordinating the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like I've been saying, I like him. I like him. I think he's
Because
good.
the thing is Harbaugh's defense is so good wherever he goes that you forget he's an offensive guy.
Yeah, but he always has a really good staff. Harbaugh always
Yeah,
has a really good staff,
yeah, he does.
and
But like,
his guys
like,
may
cause
not become head coaches, but they leave and immediately get coordinator jobs.
yeah, yeah. So like, he knows how to pick staff. He knows how to develop staff as well.
Yeah.
So Harbaugh is definitely someone who has my highest of attention.
Now
Be
I
it
will
for
say, if Harbaugh comes, we might lose our D coordinator.
well, they've already allowed him to go interview, so he's probably going anyway.
Yeah, because I think they're I'm pretty sure Harbaugh or Bill they're gonna want to bring in their
I,
own guys
I think he's going regardless.
because they
It's
were
unfortunate.
blocking him first, right?
Yeah, they'll block him, and then they allow him to interview. So they allow him to interview, and they allowed this person's team court. The only person they have not allowed to interview was the O line coach, Dwayne Ledford. So I think Ledford might be the only one that's retained. Everyone else is probably going.
Now with the whole clean house staff wise, the strength of this team is on the defense, right? We got about 8 minutes. Let's get into it. The strength of this team is on the defense, right? Um, if I'm looking at the front line of the defense, of course, I'd love like a dominant edge rusher, but that's just like a sexy pick. The linebacking core, we saw linebacker could go a little bit of help there. Need to look at the salary cap and contract
But
situations.
the weak side thing just really just depends on the type of scheme. Because if it's hardball, you're almost certainly running the 3-4, and then you could
Then that
stick
becomes a rush
with
back.
because then you could just stick with Ellis and Troy Anderson, and then have Lamb as your third linebacker.
Yeah. And then in the secondary, obviously, strong safety is a point of contact there.
Yeah, we're gonna need
And
safety and corner too. We're gonna need a
yeah,
corner.
wouldn't be appalled with corner. On the offense, right tackle, maybe, but you just re-signed McGarry. So
Right
like,
tackle that would like if you were just in the draft, that would be anything outside of the first round.
mhm.
Um,
Left tackle
to be the number
because
two,
he's getting long.
he's
He's getting
31.
long in the tooth, bro.
He's 31. Like you're gonna take one tackle this draft in the second round.
Yeah, you're gonna take a tackle this draft.
Whether it's left or right, that's it could be a swing tackle, and then you could just figure out what side you want to put it on when it comes time. Um,
Um, Speed threat at wide
Interior is
receiver.
good.
Yeah,
We just need it's not even just a speed threat. We need a legit number two.
yeah. London has the talent to be a number one, and I think with the quarterback play that we've had, he's proven that he's capable of being a number one. Yeah, you can debate me on it. I'll
No,
show you the
no.
routes. Like,
London's a number one because London, but
yeah,
he's not your like because to me London is like he's Mike Evans side, but he has Hopkins skill set.
and you saw Hopkins with Levis this year. He had that huge game against us, but for the most part, without the volume of catches needed to actually get his numbers, he's just a possession receiver. He's going to get
Yeah,
you tough first downs. He's going to run his routes and drag
he's gonna make some
defenses away
contested
from you.
catches. Yeah,
Yeah, like it's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like D Hop, everybody had D Hop is able to produce with every quarterback, but like D Hop had an extreme volume of throws his way. You know what I'm saying?
because
Whereas
but
in
he's a
Arthur
true
Smith's
alpha,
offense,
and that's I think that's what Drake is.
yeah,
So like
but in Arthur Smith's offense, he
so
was not getting volume. He was not
well
getting
that's just
volume.
because that's just that weird offense because it was too inconsistent. Um, but yeah, so like I would like to see like a Will Fuller type number two. Someone that's capable of taking the top off that really could open up because you have uh Drake doing his thing. You get a legitimate deep threat. There's not just a legitimate threat at receiver. Kyle Pitts could kill.
In the middle of the field, bro. And like one of the things that I've heard that has been like super concerning is Kyle Pitts following the Hawkinson route, right? In the fact of going into your fourth year, they've already decided they're going to pick up the fifth year option. He's going to play on that, right? So going into your fourth year and getting very close to the trade deadline and making a move on him just because he doesn't fit the long term direction of your team or you don't want to pay him. And like for me, tight end, especially when you're not paying anyone on the team, for real, like tight end, linebacker, and safety, if you can find a good one, pay them. Pay them. They don't hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand coming off this season, you can't give them a big contract. That's understandable. But the trade buzz kind of unsettling.
I'm not really. The thing is, the only place I'm seeing trade buzz is from people who don't have credibility. It's just people with Twitter accounts just saying, "Oh, I think we should do this." There's no real people with inside information saying anything about a Kyle Pitts trade. I don't think he's going anywhere. If it does, it just depends on whoever the coach would be. But they're Kyle Pitts only 23 years old, going into
I'm not gonna lie.
going into year four. And he's finally about to be healthy. He's only had He's only had really one season of being truly healthy.
I
Because
think
last
Belichick.
this past season he played all his games. Belichick scares the fuck out of me. Like if you bring him here just to coach, I'm okay with it. But if he has any type of personnel decision, he's gonna fuck this roster up in 3 years, and then we gonna be
I I think he would if Belichick came in and had some roster control. I do think Kyle Pitts could be moved, and that's not a great feeling.
But but the thing is, I think it's more than that because Belichick is more of a coach for veterans than young players
Yeah,
because there's no connect. Like that's why I like Harbaugh so much because people Harbaugh, even though he's 60, he can still connect with younger players. They
yeah. You're
respect him.
just
They
playing
love him
you just college
because
kids.
I don't know if you've seen well yesterday when he was at the Ravens game, he's seen Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson was his quarterback 15 years ago at San Diego State, and they still have a great relationship. You still love and respect this man. That's the coach I want. Give me him, Morris, Weaver. I'll take a Ben Johnson or Slow if it makes sense, but I want one of them. Um, Belichick, if you were at least 5 years younger, I would be more optimistic. And if your last 2 years didn't look the way they did, I'll be more optimistic. Because
And now, to be fair, Mac Jones has been his quarterback, and
he was.
he had no offensive coordinator 2 years ago.
Whose fault is that? As a head coach, it's your job to fill the staff, right? That's part of your job, right?
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. It worked both ways. That's fair, right? So like it is your, but it cost him his job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that I think Bill is very like nose to the grindstone, results oriented, and I think that works very well for a short period of time, right?
Yeah. Because
And
players get tired.
yeah he had
Tom
grinded it
Brady
all.
got tired.
Yeah, he had grinded it all out in New England, but I think that stone sharpened could come here and work. But like you talked about, it will work for a very short amount of time. What could you get? How much juice can you get from that orange in that amount of time? Is it a Super Bowl? Maybe. But I definitely think with Bill Belichick as a coach, we're playing last weekend. At minimum, we're playing last weekend. With this exact
At
same
minimum,
roster and Bill
at minimum,
Belichick as a coach, we're playing last weekend.
maybe. 'Cause if he can't figure the quarterback situation, it don't matter. If he can't get the right offensive coordinator, it don't matter. The defense is going to be fire regardless. But if he and most likely he would have McDaniels. McDaniels is a fine offensive coordinator. It's coach, hell no, but as an offensive coordinator, he's fine as long as you don't have
Yeah.
any personnel decisions to make. Um, because Josh McDaniels fucked the Raiders. Because the Raiders had offense on paper was great. Because last year you had Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfro, who was one of the best slot receivers in the league, and he just didn't use them.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think that's one of those like same Arthur Smith things, like too smart for the room. You know what I'm saying? You drawing up plays for your backup tight end is not the move, right? So,
it's
guys, we have gone all over the coaching carousel. We appreciate y'all coming in with us. Tune in for more off-season content. The main thing that we're gonna talk about, we're gonna get dig deep into this roster, figure out what we need, and how to really make our team better.
yeah. That's really all we can do. Hope and pray. Hopefully, next time we see us, we have more news on the coaching front. Um, I feel like the decision is going to come either this week or next week. So
Yeah, especially depending, or if at the very least we choose Weaver or McDonald, it's one of those open secret type things.
yeah, we should at least have an idea within the next week, hopefully, but at most two.
All right, y'all guys, y'all stayed this long. I appreciate y'all. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe, share. We are on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere that you want to go. This has been your boy Q City.
Your boy Times Bravado.
We out.
Peace.